What if I told you that most of what you think you know about other people is actually about you? The person you can't stand at work, the influencer you secretly hate watch, the friend you admire but feel weirdly jealous of. They're all mirrors, not windows. This sounds insane, but once you understand it, really understand it, you'll never see the world the same way again. There's a psychological concept that rewires how you relate to people, how you deal with conflict, and most importantly, how you understand yourself. It's not a self-help hack. It's not some trendy TikTok buzzword. It comes from the depths of analytical psychology, from the mind of Carl Jung. This one mental shift has the power to dissolve toxic relationships, end cycles of self-sabotage, and unlock a kind of emotional freedom most people never experience. And the craziest part? It's been shaping your reality since the day you were born. You just haven't seen it until now. This is the one psychological trick that will change how you see the world forever. We all like to believe we're objective, rational, fair-minded. You think you see the world as it is, but you don't. You see it as you are. Every time you meet someone, interpret their tone or assign meaning to what they do. You're not just observing, you're filtering. And that filter? It's made of your childhood experiences, emotional wounds, belief systems, unconscious fears, unmet needs, the whole chaotic library of your inner world. Let's take a simple example. You meet someone who speaks boldly, takes up space, dominates conversations. One person says, "Wow, they're confident." Another says, "Ugh, they're arrogant." Same behavior, completely different reactions. Why? Because what you see in someone else depends on what's unresolved in you. We're constantly projecting our inner world onto the outer one, often without realizing it. You think you're just reacting to reality, but you're reacting to your story about reality. And here's the kicker. The more emotional your reaction, the less it's about them, and the more it's about you. This is the glitch in the matrix, the hidden layer under your perception. And it leads us to the psychological trick that changes everything, a concept that makes the invisible visible and turns the mirror around. It's called projection, and once you see it, really see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Let's break it down. Projection is a psychological defense mechanism, but more than that, it's a survival instinct from the unconscious. It works like this. Instead of owning something uncomfortable within ourselves, an emotion, an urge, a trait, we unconsciously project it outward onto someone else. It's as if your mind says, "I can't deal with this, so I'll pretend it's not mine." But the psyche doesn't erase things, it just hides them and then points fingers. So you judge someone for being selfish, when deep down you've been taught that your own needs aren't valid. You hate narcissists, when truthfully, you've been suppressing your own desire to be seen, loved, and powerful. You cringe at someone being overly emotional, not because emotions are bad, but because yours were never safe to express. Projection is your unconscious trying to get your attention by tricking you into thinking the problem is out there. But what if that trigger is actually a treasure? What if that person you can't stand is carrying a message from your shadow? That's the psychological trick. Everything that emotionally hooks you in others is often a reflection of something unacknowledged in yourself. The people you judge, envy, resent, and even those you idolize are revealing you to yourself. They're mirrors, and mirrors don't lie, but the ego does. This is why the concept of projection is so powerful. It's not just about blame, it's about transformation. When you catch a projection, you catch a glimpse of your unconscious. You reclaim a piece of yourself. And the more you do that, the more whole you become. Carl Jung put it perfectly. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. So next time someone gets under your skin, pause. Instead of reacting, ask, what part of me is being reflected right now? That question alone is the gateway to your inner transformation. So where do these projections come from? To understand that, we need to go deeper. Beneath the surface of our thoughts, beneath our personality, is the realm Jung called the unconscious. And within that realm lives a figure Jung feared and respected in equal measure, the shadow. It's your anger you weren't allowed to show as a child. Your confidence you buried because it made others uncomfortable. Your sexuality, your ambition, your envy, your neediness. Everything you were told was too much, not good, or unacceptable got locked away in the dark. But here's the thing, the shadow doesn't disappear, it grows. And it starts showing up in other people. You see it in the loud friend who always needs attention, or the coworker you call fake, or the stranger whose confidence makes you roll your eyes. Your shadow is clever. It knows you won't look directly at it, so it finds actors to play its parts, and you boo them off the stage. But what if those people are doing your work for you? What you suppress becomes what you hate. What you deny becomes what you judge. And what you reject in yourself, you will constantly chase or attack in others. When you begin to do shadow work, when you look into the darkness without flinching, you stop being controlled by it. You stop projecting, you start integrating. And that's the difference between being reactive and being free. So how do you know when you're projecting? Because by its nature, projection is unconscious. You don't think you're doing it. You just feel incredibly sure that the other person is the problem. But the truth is, your emotional reactivity is your compass. Whenever your reaction feels bigger than the situation, that's your first clue. Here are some signs you're caught in projection and not presence. 1. You feel irrationally triggered by someone. You obsess over something they said. You replay it. It hits too hard, too fast. 2. You judge someone harshly for something you secretly fear in yourself. You call someone weak, but you've never allowed yourself to cry. 3. You idolize someone to the point of losing your sense of self. Projection isn't just negative. Sometimes you see someone as everything you wish you could be because you've buried that potential in yourself. Want to catch yourself projecting? Start with questions like these. What do I hate most in other people? What kind of people trigger or intimidate me? What traits do I admire but feel I could never embody? What accusation do I repeat over and over about others? And here's the kicker. The moment you spot a projection, don't judge it. Welcome it. Because that judgment you feel, that discomfort, that's your shadow knocking, and the door it's trying to open leads straight to your transformation. This isn't about blame or shame, it's about reclaiming your emotional power, your clarity, your identity. When you pause, even mid-conflict, and ask yourself, what is this really about in me? You step out of unconsciousness and into awareness. You stop reacting, you start responding, and that small shift, that's the start of emotional mastery. So you've recognized the projection, you've paused, you've asked, what part of me is showing up right now? What now? This is where the real work begins. Integration. Integration means reclaiming the parts of yourself you once rejected and choosing to consciously own them. It's not about becoming perfect, it's about becoming whole. Let me be clear, this doesn't mean you condone bad behavior in others. It means you stop fighting shadows and start understanding yourself. That person who annoys you, they're showing you your disowned strength or your unhealed wound. That crush you idealize, they reflect qualities you secretly crave to embody. When you take the projection back, it becomes part of your internal landscape again. And with that, you gain something priceless, emotional clarity. You stop being controlled by triggers. You stop getting pulled into drama you secretly co-created. You begin to respond with intention, with awareness, with depth. That's when you feel it, the shift. You're no longer sleepwalking through life. You're watching yourself in real time, choosing how to show up. And that pause, that conscious choice, That's freedom. Freedom from knee-jerk blame, from emotional chaos, from repeating the same patterns with new people. Integration turns your shadow into your ally, not your saboteur. And once you integrate enough, the world starts looking different, because it's no longer a battlefield full of enemies. It's a mirror full of messages. Let's be honest. This kind of self-awareness, and it's not easy. In fact, at first, it's brutal. Because once you see your projections, you can't unsee them. You lose the comforting illusion that everyone else is the problem. You realize you've been outsourcing your emotions, blaming others for things that were always yours to own. It's humbling, it's confronting, sometimes it's terrifying. You'll grieve the parts of yourself you abandoned. You'll cringe at how you used to judge others. You'll see how much of your suffering was self-created. And still, you'll keep going, because this path leads to something the unaware will never touch: true inner power. Not the kind that dominates, but the kind that liberates. The kind that doesn't need to control others because you've finally taken ownership of yourself. So here's the truth. That one psychological trick, it's not just a concept, it's a compass pointing you inward. Every judgment, every obsession, every trigger is a message. Not from them, from you. If you want peace, real, lasting peace, stop trying to fix the world. Start by understanding the parts of yourself you keep projecting onto it. See it clearly, and you'll never see anything the same way again. If this video hit your soul and you found it useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, thanks for watching.